I'm going to show you how to set up a new worm bin. Actually, what I'm going to do, I have an existing worm bin here that I've had for a couple of years, and I'd like to add a new tray. And the process of adding a new tray and setting up a new worm bin is pretty much the same. So we're going to go through that process. I purchased this Worm Factory 360. It's about $100, but you can definitely use a 5-gallon bucket for about $5, or a couple of them with some holes drilled in the bottom, or any other kind of plastic non-see-through container. It's very important that they have a dark space. They don't like light, as we have all these lights shining on them. They're not going to like that. So let's get started. The first thing that you're going to need is just a container. So I have this bin here that is just a all-purpose bucket for doing whatever. It's really dirty, but that doesn't matter. So we have the bucket. I have some shredded paper here. This shredded paper and cardboard, so it's a combination of mail and cardboard. So we'll just throw that down there. And I also have, this is coconut core. Worms love coconut core. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of coconut core. This stuff expands when it gets moist, and to make the worm bedding, we are going to want to moisten it a little bit. So I'm just going to take a few chunks out. We definitely don't need a whole wheelbarrow full, and just add it here to the cardboard. Okay, now what I'm going to do is add some water to this cardboard and coconut core mixture. Let that absorb the water. You want a nice damp bedding for them, so not soaked, but this is going to absorb a lot of the water, so we'll add that. So this is me adding a new layer. Now, my new layer could very well be your new bin. So now it looks like our core and cardboard soaked up this water. So now I'm just going to mix it around a bit and add it to my bin. This is going to be the bedding for the worms. Actually got pretty drenched here. I will leave that extra water. Okay. So now that is all spread out, just like so. So basically that's all there is to adding a worm bed to your composting container, depending on the size. You do want a good amount of thickness here because you're going to be burying the food underneath it. And basically by having a cover, you're going to keep things out like flies. Mine is in the shed, so I have fruit flies in mine, and I don't really care. But I did have it in the house for a while, and if you're not careful, you can successfully have a worm bin in the house, but you have to be diligent about what you're putting in it and making sure you're not overstuffing the bin. So now it's time to add our food. I have a little bit of arugula that went bad and some coffee grounds. So I'm just going to pick a corner here, put the food on the bottom, and cover it up. And if you search the web, there's all kinds of methods for feeding your worms. One method that seems to work well is to just pick a spot. So here I have this corner you can kind of section this off into 9 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And each time I bring some food out, I'll put it in a separate bin. And by the time I get over there, I can come back and start putting food in this corner again. Worms can eat approximately half their weight in food a day, but that really depends. It depends on the food that's there, how comfortable they are in their environment, and how easy it is for them to eat it. So if you're not grinding up your food, I typically don't grind up my food. I just throw it in there and let nature do its thing. It rots and eventually breaks down enough so that they can eat it. But some people like to hurry up the process, so they'll put everything in a blender and then throw it in, and that's fine too. The most important piece is that your compost is in your house and it's not going into a landfill. And so I hope this will inspire some of you to start a worm composting bin. I've got these damp pieces of paper. I'm just going to dampen this one a little bit more. It's not quite damp. Lay these on top. And there's our new layer.